Today I want to introduce you to my breakfast principle. Now no worries, we're not going to talk about healthy meals and the perfect morning routine. It's rather a nice, easy tool to help you break the overwhelm pattern in your mind when you feel really overloaded. It's also a great tool to use when you have a tight deadline and you haven't started yet and you're running around like a headless chicken and not getting anything done. Then this will really help you to calm down, to look at things from a distance, to structure and prioritize, and to take action in a way that will help you to at least have a fighting chance to succeed. Let's get into it. Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Mandy and I'm super excited to hang out with you today. I came up with this tool during a session with one of my clients who had to prepare for a presentation that she had to deliver in front of a very high profile audience, and she had very little time to do it. Of course, she had a million other things that she had to do as well, and as the deadline kept creeping closer and closer, it felt more and more impossible to even start. Kind of like this little guy who I really resonate with.
Oh yeah!
Now we've all been there, right? We all think, I'll get it done tomorrow. Tomorrow I will sit down and focus and I'll get it all done. And then tomorrow comes and the hill of work that we need to do all of a sudden has transformed into Mount Everest and we don't even know where the hell to start the climb. And so again, we may leave it until the next day because today we're just not in the right headspace and we have to very urgently rearrange the furniture in our living room. This continues until we come to a point where there are no tomorrows left and we actually have to face reality and get to work. Now this is usually where all logic goes out the door and we start spinning on one spot. Or you grab one thing and realize, no, that's not that important, I should maybe start with this point. And then you grab that part and then half an hour in you realize, I think maybe this part is more important, and you grab that. And you continue like this for the rest of your day. Or you take one part and you get so absorbed in the details of perfecting that part that you spend hours on it, and by itself that part is completely useless. And then you realize, okay, I have only 10 hours left, but this one tiny part took me 4.5 hours to do, so there's no way that I will finish. No matter which of the above responses are your usual MO, either way you will feel freaked out and overwhelmed and won't have much to show for it. To get back to the example of my client, she would spend hours on one slide really perfecting it, looking at the sentence structure, the words, the font, the images, the colors. Once that is done, she has 10 more to do and then realizes that there's actually physically not enough time left to do each and every one in the same way. And God forbid, 4 slides in, she realizes that the structure is a little bit off or that some of the content needs to be adjusted or rearranged. So at the end of a very intense day, she would have 1 or 2 slides perfect and ready, but still won't be able to deliver a speech. We do this with so many things, and I'm pretty sure that 90% of you who are watching this right now were nodding your head in recognition at some point. We do it when we have a project deadline, when we have to study for exams, when we have a job that we need to prepare for or finish. And I'm sure you have a list of a lot of other things that you need to do right now that you know it's time sensitive and that you haven't started yet. In most cases, the overwhelm causes us to lose oversight, and rational, intelligent human beings are rendered useless by the stress and are transformed into little heaps of self-pity and regret. Now, to help you get out of this mess, you can employ my easy peasy breakfast principle. Let's say you have moved into a new place and after settling in, you are proud and ready to show off your new crib to your friends. So you decide to host a breakfast Saturday morning, 9 a.m. You have the perfect picture in mind. A beautiful clean home, you in a perfect outfit that will make you look like you just fell out of a home decor magazine. The perfect elaborate breakfast menu that will leave your friends wondering, how can one person possibly be so perfect? Now Friday night comes along and you know you should start to prepare, but you tell yourself you'll get up at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning and there will be plenty of time to prepare and get everything ready. You go to bed happily, leaving the mess around you and your dirty hair for tomorrow morning 6 a.m. sharp. In the morning you wake up with a smile, excited about your big day and in happy anticipation of the slight tinge of jealousy that you will recognize in your friends. But then you look at your alarm and you see it's 8:45 and your friends will be here in 15 minutes. Your stomach drops, you start to freak out and you go into a mad spin. Your friends are already on their way, so you can't ask them to come later, and you can already see Betty's judgmental nose tilt when she sees the tornado that has apparently hit your home. Now the question is, what do you do? What is the first and most important thing that you at least want to have ready before they come? Will you shove your clothes into your closet and clean up a little bit? Will you jump into the shower and wash your hair so you at least don't look like you've given up on life? Or will you get dressed or start cooking breakfast in your pajamas? Then once you have the bare minimum of that one first thing done, what will be your next priority? And after that is done, what is the next thing that will make you feel a little more secure and that will make you feel a little more okay with your friends walking in within the next few minutes? At 9 a.m. your friends walk in and although you still feel like crap, at least you have covered some basics that allow you to work from there. If you chose a quick shower, at least you will feel somewhat refreshed. If you cleaned up the house a little bit, at least Betsy won't have too much to judge. Or if you started to prep your breakfast, then at least you can offer your guests something sooner. What you choose to do first will depend on what makes you feel better and also on what is appropriate to that situation. And also, and this is a really key part, you won't go into a deep dive of any of those tasks. You will do the bare minimum that will allow you to move on to the next step. So for example, shoving your clothes into the closet just so that it looks halfway decent will allow you to move on to taking a quick shower. Once you've done that, you can move on to just preparing the basics of your breakfast meal. Then once that is covered and you still have time left, you can go back and do the next best thing for cleaning your house. For example, getting rid of those not so cute dust bunnies. You want to use this thought and prioritization process in all other aspects of your life as well. When you have to prepare for a presentation, ask yourself, what is the one thing that I need to at least be able to have something to work with? Here it would be, for example, to have one word or sentence per slide that will help prompt you to talk about that section. It won't be pretty and far from perfect, but at least if you have one word per slide, it will give you a fighting chance to deliver something. Once you have that done, you go back and add a few bullet points. Once that is done, you take an hour to quickly rehearse all your slides. Once you feel that you're kind of comfortable with that, then you can add even more. Add pictures, pick a nice font, and so on and so forth. The point is putting in details on one slide will make that slide look very pretty, but it will be completely useless to your presentation as a whole. You want to look at the bigger picture and ask yourself, what is the one thing that I have to have in place in order to be able to pull it off? The same applies to when you are studying. Ask yourself, what is the one thing that I really need to understand? Or what is one big point out of each chapter that I really need to get so that I can build from that? When you have to submit an assignment, ask yourself, what is the bare minimum that I need to do in order to be able to at least submit something? And then get that done first. Once you've done that and you have time left, go back, add details and make it pretty. If you want to start a business or a side hustle, what is the one thing that you really need in order to be able to deliver that service or that product? We usually get stuck on details that bring us nowhere, like having the perfect logo or the perfect systems in place or having the greatest equipment that will make our lives really easy. All those things are great, but they can come over time. What you want to focus on is the bare minimum of what you need to get started. The question is always, if you had a gun to your head and you had to deliver something within the next 15 minutes, what is the one thing you will need that will at least give you a fighting chance? Now, maybe you are facing a situation right now, or you will face it in the future where you feel overwhelmed and overloaded and you don't know where to start. Remember the breakfast principle. It will help you to structure your priorities in a workable way. So, as simple and obvious as it might sound, I hope this tool will really help you, because it has definitely made a difference for my clients and for myself too. Now, if you're in the mood for a little bit of a giggle, stay tuned for the bloopers coming up. If you would like to help me continue making these videos, please give this video a thumbs up and also be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Other than that, I hope you have a beautiful day and always remember to live an empowered life. Catch you in the next one. It's not about healthy foods and that I use to break the I have a tight it's going so well. No, nah. That you need to finish anything in the end. and then tomorrow. Content needs to be real. Are in a situation. I mean, we've all been there. We've all. We all. I bet you've never had to do this and forget your words. I don't know, maybe. Got a channel? Let me know down below.